Hello, I'm Mark Mason, Communications Manager for Dash, and on today's Ask Me Anything is Sam Westrich, who is the Interim Chief Technology Officer for Dash Core Group. Welcome to the AMA, Sam, and thanks for joining me today.
Thanks as well, Mark. I'm very happy to be here.
Excellent. Today's AMA will be for 60 minutes and is being broadcasted live on several social media platforms. Can I kindly ask that you like and share this video stream so that we can reach as many people as possible? Please feel free to start submitting your questions in the comment sections. We will do our very best to answer as many of your questions as possible, but please do try to keep your questions short and direct. And while we wait for the first few questions to come in, I've prepared a few questions to start with that have been submitted in our Dash Discord community. So with all that out the way, we can begin. Sam, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Okay. Here is the first question. And this is quite a good one. So I guess we should say, for those that didn't watch the quarterly call, you are now the new interim CTO for Dash Core Group. So for those that are thinking, where's Bob? There's been a change. So maybe we should address that first, Sam. So do you just want to give a bit of quick background on that, and then we can jump into this question?
Yeah, sure. So around, I don't even remember what day. Do you remember what day when it was?
I want to say it's like feels like a month or two ago now.
It's crazy. There has been a lot of work going on, and time kind of like just, all days kind of merged together. So I've been CTO, I think, for the last 2 months. A few months before that, Bob let us know that he was pursuing another opportunity outside of crypto. It's public knowledge. So he basically had he was partners with somebody on a venture, and that venture ended up doing very well. And that other person had to step down for personal reasons. So he took the CEO position of that role. So we had an opening for CTO, and I really wanted to do it for a few reasons. The first being that, I've been in the project since 2015, probably, maybe even, from the first few weeks. I got my my first few master nodes. Well, actually, even before there were master nodes. And, I came even up with the name Dash in my apartment in Beijing when I was living there. That's a funny story, in fact. And yeah, I've been in the project for a very long time. I care very much about the project, and I was a little bit afraid that, somebody new coming in would have their own vision, and it would be distracting, and, it would lead to delays and other things. And I really, this has almost become, a majority of my life at this point. So I care very much, and I want to, make sure the project succeeds every way I can. So I'm your new CTO, guys.
Excellent. Well, it's great because, it's very difficult coming into a new project anyway. And knowing the history, and there's been so many changes. What Darkcoin originally was in 2014 is very different to what we have today. In terms of the core messaging, the mission statement, and lots of things. And it's been one hell of a journey. But I think having subscribed to the original vision, understanding that why certain decisions were made is instrumental to the role. So although I'm sure the new role is quite daunting, I'm sure the daily practice isn't unusual to you. But this question was submitted by someone in Discord. So they wanted to know, what's been your most positive and negative experience so far in your new role? Difficult question, but keep it light.
Yeah. I would actually say the most positive experience is, it's not just one experience, but it's happened a few times so far. It's when, as people might know, we've been doing a lot of hiring recently, right? And I would say the most positive feeling for me was a little bit of backstory here. I was instrumental in like one of the components of platform is called TenderDash. This is a fork of Tendermint, where I basically me and another developer or another few developers in the platform team, we ripped out a lot of how Tendermint works in consensus, and we replaced it with, some Dash innovations such as, well, they're not completely Dash innovations, but we were, I feel, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I do believe that Dash was the first to introduce distributed key generation on a cryptocurrency network. So based off of our distributed key generation, we have something called threshold signatures. So I used our threshold signature technology and I implemented it into the Tendermint consensus. And by the way, this is not even the positive experience. This is just a very quick side note at the beginning. But that was a project. And when as I'm doing this, I'm realizing like, wow, this is something that, is actually quite cool, and a whole team could actually take on afterwards. So that was last year, or not last year. That was like at the beginning of the year. And my idea was, okay, eventually maybe we should have a team for this. So when we started hiring, we kind of, the platform team would have gotten too big if we just had hired and constantly added people to that team. At some point you should split up teams to, have a team size of around 4 to 7 people or 3 to 7 people. So I would say, I hope people can see where this is going. Basically, the TenderDash team was created. We hired 3 people. So I did interviews with a lot of other people in our team. We hired 3 people among a lot of potential candidates. And I would say like the most positive thing is, when the team was officially kicked off, I think it was the 1st of September, and already getting, stories completed by the members of that team, it's just feels great. And I mean, I love that. I would say that was my most positive experience more recently. Negative experience. Well, I like to talk to our community, right? And I like to give our community the best estimates that I personally believe in. And I get it from, asking developers, what are your time expectations, things like that. If I go to our community and I say, hey, something's going to happen in a week, and then it happens in 2 weeks, I don't like that. I really want to be honest, but I'm getting it from, to the best of my ability, from people of what I believe to be true. And I would say delays are kind of my more negative experience. Is in the end, I'm accountable for these delays, so I do my best to portray in the best I can, like timelines, but I'm not in complete control of them. So that would probably be the more negative part.
Sometimes things do go bump in the night as well. So things happen that are unexpected, that we're not always prepared for. But I would just like to add to that. I think your transparency and honesty has been very welcomed by the community, especially in Discord. I mean, you fully come in, open up your hand saying, look, there's been delays, and you tell it like it is. You're a straight shooter. And I think the community does really appreciate that, and is quite refreshing, actually. So I would keep encouraging that. I think as long as you're open, that's what the community wants. It's when they're left in the dark is when they speculate. And when people speculate, they always think the worst. So I would say, please keep on doing what you're doing. And hopefully in this AMA today, we can address any concerns or speculation that the community may have. I want to jump onto a next question that was also submitted in Discord. You kind of touched on this briefly. You mentioned about the recruitment of developers. There's been a big recruitment push within Dash Core Group, and you've been really heading up the recruitment process for the developers. And there are many different skill sets. Can you just like bring us up to speed what's happened over the last couple months?
For sure. I'm actually going to go team by team because otherwise this will be hard to answer. And I'll start with the core team. Some people might remember that a few months ago, well, probably 4 or 5 months ago, there was a proposal submitted to the network around developer incentive fund. That was actually mostly done because there was I wanted to find a way to retain somebody. Sadly, it was too late to keep that person. But after that, the course situation was pretty dire. We were at two full-time developers in the core team, with some external contributors at that point. And since then, now we are, we spent a lot of time on hiring. We are at 6 with another, quite a few more external contributors as well, through the incubator. And, the core, we haven't been at 6 core developers, I don't think ever. I do not think that maybe back in 2017 or 2018 there was a period, but I don't even feel like they were all actively contributing at that time either. So I feel like the core team, which maintains the masternode software, has never been better. The layer 1 masternode software. So now let me go on to let's go to mobile. As I became CTO, I was spending a lot of time before writing our iOS library, and I couldn't really do that anymore. We since hired another very good iOS backend. It's not so easy to find these people either, because you don't just need an iOS developer. You need somebody who understands cryptography, who understands system design, who understands much more than iOS development. When we put out like iOS, we're looking for an iOS developer, 99% of applicants are, yes, I was able to maybe do some UI on screen. That's not the type of candidate we needed for that role. So that role has been filled. On the Android side, we have also hired two additional people, and then we also hired somebody who will help us in terms of integrations. For example, I'm not making any promises here, but wouldn't it be nice to have Coinbase integrated into our wallet, or to have more ways you can pay directly in our wallet? These are all things that are kind of low-hanging fruit that we can do now, especially that we're hiring for them, and we've done that. So the mobile team, the core team, they're pretty much set at this point, and that's gone very well. And yeah, I'm extremely happy. As I said before in the previous question, we hired 3 people for TenderDash, which is a subsection of Platform. It's a consensus algorithm that we're going to be using for Platform. So one of them started about a month ago. Another team member started on the 1st of September, but only full-time on the 15th. And another is starting part-time now and full-time in November. So, that's gone extremely well. Then we also created a research team. It's research/systems design team, where basically, as people can see, a lot of our developers write dipped. Like I've written many myself, Dash improvement proposals and things for the network. Well, I really wanted to hire cryptographers and mathematicians to help us because, it is extremely time consuming, especially when we have a problem in mathematics or maybe some difficulty in some probabilistic scenario. And we, spend a lot of time asking, a mathematician, an external mathematician to help us if, we obviously can't know everything, right? Especially very advanced mathematics, or maybe we try, but we want some backup. Virgil was hired in about 3 months ago, and we are looking for one more person for that team as well. And that is going pretty well. We do have a few good candidates right now. Now, in terms of open positions we have left, well, we have one more person for the platform team with 2 candidates currently available. And if those candidates are currently listening, it is possible that we take both of you. They're pretty good resumes and are pretty much at the middle of the interview process. Then we also have as I said, the research role open. We also have a C++ role still open. And I also forgot. We also hired an extra documentation guru to help the Fez, who people might know from the community. And let's see. And also with... Oh, yes, exactly. So that's the 2 people that we're currently looking at right now. It's for Rust. So, it's been quite a long time, that maybe not that long, probably about a month that we've had that position open. But we've now are finally getting some pretty good candidates.
So the response has been really good. It sounds like you've onboarded some really good people.
Mm-hmm.
Is this it? Is there going to be more roles posted in the future? Or are you constrained in any way from how much you can onboard? What's it like? I mean, because as you said, you're now Mr. Accountable. So you have to deliver this, right? So do you have everything at your disposal that you need? Are you happy and content? Or do you want more?
No, I think that there's a limit on how quickly you can onboard, right? We're pretty much doubling the size of the team in 3 months. And, I don't really want to continue hiring forever right now. At least there needs to be somewhat of a settling down phase where all the new hires, we spend a lot of time to make sure that they have everything they need so they can succeed. Make sure needs are actually there. Right now, for example, I don't see any extra need in core. There's it always would be great to have somebody amazing, so we keep a position open just in case we get an amazing candidate. In mobile right now, we've just hired quite a lot. There's, we need to get those people well trained up. I really don't think we need to hire many more people. What we need to do now is we need to get those people that we just hired and maybe 1 or 2 more to, get them well integrated. And this process could probably take 6 months. At that point, let's say, the price of, let's be optimistic here, price of Dash has gone through the roof. We've delivered, everything's beautiful. Well, yes, I do see us hiring more. I do see us going 3 or 4 times more developers than we currently have. But that is not something I want to get ahead of myself with. All in good time.
Okay, excellent. Okay, we just had a new question come in via Twitter. So it says, hey, what's the focus mainly on wallet or platform? Okay, that's two separate questions, but I guess the follow-up one's probably the more important one. How confident are you in platform this year or 2022? I guess we could probably give a bit of forward guidance there in that the last quarter 2021 summary call, there was an updated roadmap that showed the release date estimation approximate for quarter 1 2022. But just in terms of progress and where we're at, can you just give us an update with regards to platform and DashPay?
Yeah, for sure. So as I've said before, DashPay is a kind of like a, I don't even like calling them layers. I kind of prefer internally calling them tiers. It's like a tier 3 application. It's living on top of platform. And DashPay, as you know, has been pretty much ready for the last 6 months. There have been minor tweaks here and there, but DashPay is ready. So there's not much to do in like the wallets in terms of DashPay. Yes, we're fixing bugs based off of alpha. We have an alpha program, which is kind of what we're calling kind of our internal beta, with some community members invited, and we are fixing bugs, but the features are all there for DashPay. What we're really what we still need to release is platform. And some changes on the core side of things. Again, core is our masternode system. So we need a few changes in our masternode system, and we need changes in platform. In platform, I see us, well, there are two major things left to do this year. One is surrounding how we store data, and basically, this might become a little technical, so I'm going to try to keep it quite not technical. The way and the cryptographic ways that you store data are extremely important for our system and do not exist in the industry. So we're building that out. And there are projects here and there that do almost what we want. So we are taking a basis from other projects, but it's not exactly what we need. So that is probably the hardest bump still on our way to mainnet, because we do have a lot of work there still to do. Where do I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Problem, who knows if it will happen, but I think that work will be delivered in V22 of platform. Currently, we are hopefully going to release V21 within the next 10 days. It should have, this is around the release schedule of V21. V22, the data storage part, I think that will be about 8 weeks after V21 is released. That's probably my best estimate there, based off of our, internal documents and roadmap. And then, more of like our stories and how much our project management goes on. Maybe a little bit earlier, but I think it will probably be 8 weeks. So I think that leaves us in November. If we mid-November, and then we have a whole section on fees and economic safety of platform, and that will be pretty much the last major thing, in my opinion, that needs to get done before I'm not going to say hit mainnet, because before we have kind of the final beta version, which has all the features that we want to go to mainnet. At that point, we're not going to be working on features anymore. We're going to be telling, both internally, all the teams, hey, break the system now. And the community as well. Now is the time. Try to break it. try to both economically, both structurally, find ways to hack our system, make sure that everything works and it doesn't slow down after heavy request load. I can't say how long that's going to take. I internally think that process there is going to take about 2 months. But I'm not, there's no way for me to know in advance that, specific, these are the unknown unknowns. It's hard to tell, but I personally have estimated around 2 months for that. And then we have as well an external audit that we're trying to complete as well, to even add another layer of security upon the release. What we really don't want to have happen is we release and we've seen many projects that go down after a week or two. So we really want to make sure that doesn't happen. So internal security checks, external security checks, but that's basically it. I can pretty much say right now that I do not see us hitting mainnet this year. It's not going to happen. But I do see us, being feature complete this year. And then
Excellent.
having, but again, this is one of the things that I'm worried about. We have a lot of new hires come in. Are they, there's many parts of an equation here. It's my estimation. It's possible that people get sick. It's possible other things happen. But based off of where I see, I think that we will be feature complete this year.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. This came up in the Discord community. This will be something that I believe will be integrated this year. When will the 1- proposal fee take effect?
That is actually in V18. The code's already been written. It actually was, I think, written as the proposal was going down, because it's quite easy to. It was not a big change in terms of coding. It's V18, and V18 is stated for. Let me think about this. It's stated for. It's V18 of core, and core. There's a lock. It's a hard fork, and there's a lock-in phase, and so masternodes and miners need to approve. It's hard to know when they will approve and when it will go into effect. I see V18 probably being released. The code, it's especially being released in November, is my estimate. And then, I don't know how long it will take for the masternode and miner adoption, but generally we've seen 1 or 2 months in the past.
Excellent, thank you. We're getting some good comments coming in. We've got one, which was another one that was submitted on Discord, but we have one from Sidem, very active in the Dash community. Hi, Sine, thanks for watching. I'm curious about this one as well. It's something I've been actively working on with Brian from the mobile dev team, but I'm kind of curious to see what Quantum says here. Or sorry, Tan.
Yeah.
Wallet built-in masternode share savings accounts after platform. Is that something? I know we've discussed this in depth in the past, but I know you're juggling so many different balls right now. Is this something that is still on your bucket list that you want to tick off?
Yeah. So I care very much about masternode shares. I really do, because everybody who has some amount of Dash lying around and doesn't want to do some very complicated thing with some friends of them, or actually give their money to a third party, right? Not your keys, not your money. It's kind of often said, even though I really 100% do have high trust in a lot of our providers, that do the masternode shares, it's still potentially better to hold those shares yourself. Now, the real thing is that, as I said, we went from a team of 2 to 6 now in core. There's a lot of work that needs to get done for V18. I want masternode shares, but seeing the order of priority for me is more like masternode shares are going to happen in 2022. It's not going to happen this year. I also don't think that we will have built-in masternode share savings account into the wallet right away. The core code, the code in iOS does support masternode features, actually, the library, and in Android as well. So I do believe that when we build in the masternode share system, we probably will be able to build those into our wallet eventually. But it's not going to be, hey, I have 15 Dash lying around. I'm just going to put it in a savings account. It's probably more going to be on the lines of, probably slightly higher denominations than that. Because as you get really small denominations, there are more and more issues that arise. So I know these are all being taken into account. I actually wrote the way I wanted to do masternode shares back in 2018 when I was working on the masternode system itself. So, this has been a long, I really wanted to do masternode shares back in 2018, and it was more of a, this is not our priority type situation. After platform, we can work on it. So, right now that I have the reins a little bit more, I understand that. I really, I care very much about it myself, but it will be 2022.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I really appreciate that answer. Clearly, this has been something that's been requested for a long time. I remember when Joel did a video many years ago with Evan, and everyone was just like, if the community wants it, they shall have it. But yeah, that's why I say I know we've had this conversation over many years as well. And, recently we've done polls, like what would people really want, decentralized usernames or in-app, staking. And I think it's just a sign of the times of the current market climate, what the market wants right now. I mean, the market is kind of speculative, but those, people unbanking themselves and banking, taking back control, coming there and bank with Dash, having that ability to be able to stake and have a savings account essentially, and hopefully leading to more decentralized governance as well via that method, I think is only a good thing for Dash. So I'm very happy to hear that you're working on this and you're prioritizing it. That's fantastic. I think the community are going to be very excited about that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. One quick thing, Mark, before we continue, you're breaking up for me. Is that just me?
I'll refer to the comments in the chat. If I'm having any connection issues, can you let me know in the chat? Can you hear me okay now, Sam?
Well, no, it's like robot voice. So I just want to.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, I will.
It's just me. Okay. Is there a way that I can just reconnect, if you guys don't mind, or is that
sure,
too complicated?
No, I'll hold the fort. Right. Okay. So why Sam reconnects? I hope that you're enjoying this AMA. I hope you find it to be informative. Please do make sure that you like and share this stream so we can get it out. Sam's just rejoined. Hopefully the connection's a little bit better now.
Perfect. Sorry about that.
Fantastic. No problem at all. And thank you in the comments for letting us know as well. Much appreciated. Okay, so now that we've got the shares out the way, there is something else that pops up in the community. And I noticed this from a lot of the OGs, the dark coin people, that they really like the privacy aspect of Dash, and it's a constant. Ever since we rebranded a private center CoinJoin, really just for educational purposes. This question came up. I got messaged actually privately about it. People didn't want to say it in public. Are there any plans to improve upon CoinJoin to enhance privacy?
An interesting question for sure.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's one of those things where I have to be quite. I have to think about the answer here. From the technological side, we can improve CoinJoin if we want to, and then the real question is, do we want to? Because we have to balance out a few things at the same time. We have, imagine right now, CoinJoin is kind of the same as, what you can do with CoinJoin and Dash, you can do with Bitcoin. So our message to regulators is very simple. Look, we want to go away from the privacy aspect because, well, we want to stay listed in many places, and we want to provide services. We want to be the best cash payment system that exists, right? And being delisted from many countries doesn't work well for that, does it? So, our message is, well, if we're offering something that can be done in Bitcoin, with a mixing service, then regulators can understand that. Inside of Bitcoin and Litecoin and other cryptocurrencies, I do know that there is. I think there are plans to go with Taproot, right? I'm not really sure if that's been activate. I know that's not activated yet, but I do think that Bitcoin and Litecoin are, and some other cryptocurrencies are looking at more advanced privacy features. I will say that if anything comes up that regulators are happy with, then we will do our best to integrate more privacy as well. It's more of a, well, we've been working on all the stuff that platform can potentially bring, and we probably go into later on this call. And it would be a shame to then get delisted or have issues with government regulators.
Very diplomatic of you. I'm sure the inner dev of you will be like, oh, absolutely, I want to do this. I want to put all the extra bells and whistles. I do appreciate with a lot of the work that's happened more on the admin side of DCG, working with regulators and exchanges. We'll appreciate your comments there. Okay, I've got a really interesting one that's come up, and I'm kind of curious to know what your answer is as well, because I know this is a very passionate topic for some people in the community, and they've been talking about it for a while, but recently a project actually executed on it. And I don't know what your opinion is on this, so I'm curious to know as well. So do you think Dash would benefit from doing a redenomination like eCash? Just for a bit of background for those that are unfamiliar already, Bitcoin Cash, ABC, another fork of Bitcoin Cash, recently redenominated. So Bitcoin has a maximum supply of 21 million coins, and they changed it from a ratio of like 1 to a million. So now their maximum supply is 21 billion, I believe. So of course that changes the price as well. So some people in the community are quite avid believers in this, because not only does it drive down the price in terms of, it doesn't change the underlying functionality, but it's kind of like the psychology of the price in terms of the quantity available in circulating supply. So Sam, what do you think about this? Do you think Dash could benefit from this?
So yeah, there are multiple camps on redenomination. I am strongly in the no camp, and it's something that I don't like talking that much about, because this, I enjoy talking about our technology, about many hiring, and how we can improve upon what our project is doing, what other projects are doing. So I'll try to explain why I don't like talking about this, and why I don't actually like this. A lot of arguments that I've heard were on the side of, Dash is too expensive, and like people, they're trying to buy a whole Dash, and it's like too expensive for them, and they don't, it's seen as like this luxury item. I think that might be a problem that we might eventually occur on, but that's currently not the biggest issue, because right now, items are not really priced in Dash. Most items, it's very rare to see something that says, okay, this is 2 Dash, and if the price goes up or the price goes down relative to fiat, it's going to stay 2 Dash. Most of the time, things are priced in fiat currency, and then it's just a matter of conversion. Until we get to a point where things are priced in cryptocurrency, and there actually is mechanisms of stabilizing the cryptocurrency against volatility, I don't think that a redenomination is useful. I think that it could eventually happen, down the line, like 6 years down the line, when when those other things happen, we things start getting priced in Dash. Yes, then it's starting to make sense. So, it's also one of those things that it's very technically challenging, because what does it really even mean, a redenomination? Are we redenominating what 1 Dash is worth? Then we're going to have multiple software versions.
What would it mean for masternodes? Like, that would have to be reevaluated. I'm undecided on this. I'd like to know more of the pros and cons. But even from we're different, right? Because we have multiple tiers. So there are other factors that we have to incorporate into this decision. So even, the masternode 1000 Dash allocation is something that constantly comes up, where people say, like, you're going to bring down to 500 Dash or whatever, you're going to revise that. But even just discussing redenomination, then you've got to have the whole masternode chat, and then people are then going to have to essentially potentially take down their masternodes and re-put them back up, or pay for more hosting for more masternodes. It's a bit messy.
Well, we'd probably just we'd probably be more on the side of changing what 1 Dash is worth in terms of duffs. Duffs is our internal equivalent of the Satoshi. If people know, the 10 to the power of -8 Dash. So yeah, it probably would be on the lines of 1 Dash is now worth less Satoshis, duffs, and but it's just going to be a mess in terms of exchanges, in terms of the wallets, in terms of all the partners. It's not something that I want to add to my agenda with all the work that I'm currently doing. maybe there'll be a time and a place for it when, but I really don't want to do that now. So, it also, anything like this would also involve a masternode approval, obviously. I also think that the conversation, currently the way masternode voting works is you need an extra 10% of the network in the plus yes column, right? I just do not see that happening. So, I feel like most of the talks are talks, but, it's distracting.
Okay, well, I appreciate your. I need to give this more thought, and I would like to hear like both sides of the argument. I've not given it enough time, if I'm honest, to really think about it. We've had a few more comments. One from Ryan Gold saying it's not just about psychology; it's primarily about usability as well. I would like to have more about. I do appreciate within Dash, you've got a lot on your plate in terms of development. It seems most of the concerns for the community now is like, what's going on with development? Are you still hiring? Do you still need to onboard people? What skill sets do you still need? One thing that you tapped on earlier that for those watching that may be unfamiliar with Dash or been involved in Dash before, but just coming back, Dash core group development team, you've been working a lot more with the incubator. The incubator is something that they may not be familiar with. So can you just tell us a little bit how the DCG development team is working with the Dash incubator currently?
Sure. But right before that, I just want to answer a quick comment by Ryan, who said that redenomination is not just about psychology; it's primarily about usability. And Ryan Gull, by the way, head of the incubator, he's completely right. If I had a magic wand and it would just be like, ding, we changed the redenomination, I would do it. But we don't have a magic wand. And, the amount of effort, I know the amount of things that can go wrong in a decentralized network. And it's really scary for me to do that on top of all of the responsibilities we currently have. And if I had to think about, okay, would I do redenomination or would I do masternode shares? I would prefer doing masternode shares. There's a cost associated, and there's opportunity cost as well. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say there. Let's go back to it's a funny comment by James Dunn. Let's go back to how we're working with the incubator. Well, one thing that I said back about a month and a half ago is that we were going to so the incubator works multiple ways with Dash Core, I would say. The one way the incubator works is it uses our client libraries for platform, and it uses those client libraries to write dApps. This is kind of like the original and main focus of the incubator. I would say, please, incubator guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I gathered from Andy when he started it. There was a big problem, and I'm not going to mince my words. Versions between version 18 of platform and version 20 of platform just had major stability issues, especially in terms of our client libraries. And this really led to a lot of problems for the incubator trying to get things working. Some people were using old versions like version 17. Some people, with a little bit more knowledge, were trying to debug things themselves and try to get things working. What I've tried to do is prioritize making sure incubator devs can work, and to do that, well, I devoted more time to fixing issues. We now have meetings between incubator, some more senior incubator devs and our current team to make sure that the reported issues are being addressed by us. And I also, as I said, was hiring an extra person for just the JavaScript client side of our libraries for the incubator, and that person will be starting in October. That's basically what I'm doing on that side. Incubator also has two other things. They're helping us with core development. I know we have multiple people that are external contributors that prefer working on a bounty model. And something that Andy told me and Ryan told me after that is the incubator is here to help with development. It's not a big part of the incubator's total budget, I think. Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they do help with there are some bounties for core backports and some other core C++ functionality. It also has helped us in terms of hiring. Two of our recent TenderDash hires started as incubator, I would say more test hires in bounties. So that's been great. Yeah, and I feel I love the incubator. I think that it's an amazing project, and I love the way it works. And I really appreciate everything Ryan's doing for it as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think the incubator's best days are to come, especially when we get to platform. I really see that really becoming front and center, more so than it is now. So
I would say one thing is when Andy started the incubator, I was like, it's a little bit early. In the end, I'm very happy you started it at the time because it's helped us speed things up a little bit. And it's also helped us realize the issues that we were having. So it's good that he did. But, it is a continuous process to get things ready for external and incubator developers.
Excellent. I have a question that was submitted in Discord, and I think this is a good one, actually. I think this would be potentially a great soundbite from you. So what unique qualities will Dash have compared to other coins after the release of Platform?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to start. There are many, right? So I'm going to start by talking about DashPay, because I guess 5 years ago, or whenever it was originally thought up of, that was one of our the main goal, right? So in terms of DashPay, right now, one thing I want to say as a small parentheses around what I'm saying is that I'm not actively looking at every project on the market because a new one pops up every week, and I just don't have time. So if somebody wants to keep me honest about something, some other project, please do. But as far as I'm aware, nobody can do what DashPay is doing. And what DashPay does is when you, for example, Mark, if you're in DashPay, there's a resolver between your identity, which is kind of your account, and a username. And when I send money from me to you, I'm actually not, it's not obvious that I am sending money from me to you. There's no way to see my identity is sending money to your identity. It's actually what cryptographically happens is a pre-connection occurs, kind of like a friend or a contact request between us. It sets up a channel, And then this channel actually is used to send payments between each other. But those payments, I'm not going to say they're anonymous, but they're the same level of anonymity that you would normally receive from a normal Dash transaction with an address. So, more advanced, let's say you receive money from an exchange, and then you can basically there are ways to de-anonymize, just as there are ways to de-anonymize with Bitcoin, with other cryptocurrencies. On top of that, if you want, you can actually use CoinJoin on your Dash before sending between people to make it fully anonymous. So that's something that is, I believe, novel, and has never been done before. Like you see, what do you see? Like many projects, I think Unstoppable Domains is one, right? Where they basically just have people, names and addresses. So when like somebody wants to buy, I don't know, some special item on the internet that they maybe don't want their grandmother knowing about, everything is public. So, it's I don't think that that's a great payment system. Or if I'm buying something from a friend of mine, everything is public. Again, it's not great to do it that way with some of those solutions that exist. Okay, so that is basically just Dash Pay. That is kind of like one of our first dApps on top of Platform. Okay, now what does Platform do differently that no other cryptocurrency has? To the best of my ability, knowledge right now, one thing that Platform does is it's much more database oriented than other solutions like Ethereum or other solutions on the market. We don't, for this version, have smart contracts, but what we do have is the ability to query information efficiently with efficient proofs. This system is actually very novel, in my opinion, and it's quite long for me to get into. But it basically involves consensus with threshold signatures that sign a specific state of the network, and with something called Merkle trees, but not normal Merkle trees, special Merkle trees and forests that we're creating internally just for Platform. You will have the ability to prove any result of anything that you're asking to the network in a decentralized way, efficiently. And I know this might sound really like mumbo jumbo to a lot of people, but that ability will unlock a lot of other dApps that no other system can do. I believe, especially kind of more on the lines of, let's imagine somebody has a website, right? And they want to, and they have a model, let's say, I don't know, a car dealership, right? So they have different models of cars, and they have cars at different price points. They can actually build that model into a Platform. And then with Dappy, they can query things like, give me all cars after 2019 that are less than $15,000. And you're going to actually have a response from Dappy for just the data that you care about, and efficient proofs that this data is valid on the network. I don't think that exists anywhere else.
Great. I know it's very hard to encapsulate everything that Platform will deliver with all its components and pillars. So I appreciate that's a difficult question to answer. I'm also very conscientious of the time, because I know we have some hard stops. We're fast approaching the 60-minute mark. Sam, I've got so many questions I still want to ask you, like customized hardware improvements for masternodes, so much. But I just want to relay, I keep an eye on the chat channels. And I thought this was a really nice comment from Halawe. Hey, Sam, like I've been telling you, keep doing what you're doing and being transparent with the community. I completely concur. I really like your candid, transparent approach. And I like these conversations, and they're very enlightening. So before we wrap this up, as it's time to wrap this up, would you be willing to come on again? Because there are still a lot of remaining questions that I think the community would like to be answered. So perhaps we could do this again in 1 month's time. Is that good for you?
Yeah, that would work great. Yep, perfect. I will be, the background will be different next time. I'm be traveling to France. So
we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Well, okay. Well, that will conclude today's Ask Me Anything, as we've now passed the 60-minute mark. We really, really hope that you found this AMA to be informative today. I'd like to give my sincere thanks to Sam for taking part. Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome. It was wonderful.
Excellent. And I'd like to give you a massive thank you. Everyone who watched and participated with questions, thank you so much. Please do let us know in the comment section if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you follow the official Dash social media profiles to stay up to date with the latest and greatest in Dash news announcements and product updates. And if you're new to Dash, you can learn more by visiting www.dash.org. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Until next time, cheerio.